Especially for people who live in Division 5, whether you're in Redland Bay side or you're on the Southern Moreton Bay Islands side. Has anybody come across from the Southern Moreton Bay Islands this evening? Anyone? Yep? Okay, great. Terrific. Okay, well, I know a lot of people who are here in the audience, but there are some that don't know me. So I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my history. I'm actually retired. I'm 64 this year. I know it's hard to believe. So. Just think if I got some sleep in the last few months running through this campaign, it looks so much better. But yeah, my work life is varied, but I bring a lot of life experience to this job if I am lucky to be elected. I started off work very young, and I was in general and specialised nursing. I have worked in terminal cancer hospitals as a nurse, so I'm very, very well aware of the dust issues on the Southern Moreton Bay Islands with their unsealed roads. I'm incredibly worried about silicosis that could be happening over there. No monitoring has been done as far as I'm aware. It's not good enough. I've held supervisory and managerial positions in a variety of industries. At one stage in the 1980s, I was working for Kerry Packer, and he was a tough boss, but he was fair. And if I can work for somebody like that and do a good job, I think I can work for anybody. I've also been in retail merchandising and sales while my kids were going to school, and I wanted to be a stay-at-home mum. I could work during the hours when these children needed to be at school, but then they needed me to drop them off at school and pick them up in the afternoon for all their varied sports and dancing or tennis lessons, all that kind of stuff that you do with the kids when they're growing up. Before I moved to the Redlands 15 years ago, I was actually a TV editor. I worked in the television industry for 20 years. This was ongoing, working for Kerry Packer, and I worked for Channel 7, Channel 9, Channel 7, Channel 10 and the ABC for the last 10 years. And when I was working at the ABC, I was working in news and current affairs. So I'm very much into research, I'm very much into working in a team environment. I'm very good at working under stress. And this is one of the things that I find that is incredible in council. When you walk into that chamber, there is a fair amount of stress going on in there, so you've got to be able to cope with it. I've been a wife and mother and grandmother. I am the proud grandmother of a 3-week-old baby girl. Thank you. She was very, very helpful in coming a little bit earlier than election day, thank goodness, so that's great. It's my only daughter's first child, so I'm very much missing not spending time with them. Doing as much as I can, but you know, it's like when you're trying to run for an election. I've also been the proud owner of many rescue dogs over the years, the occasional cockatiel that's flown in my backyard on 5 to 5 on a Friday afternoon. I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to do with this bird that's just hopped on my shoulder? But I very much love animals, so I'm a community person. I like being involved with the community very much. Since I moved here 15 years ago, I was a bush care volunteer for 7 years. And I've been the volunteer secretary for a lot of different organisations since I've been here. I didn't realise how many till I started writing it down. I've been a volunteer secretary for Redland Bay State School PNC, for the Victoria Point Junior AFL Club, for the Urara Arts Society. I was the inaugural founding member of the Urara Youth Art Awards, which tries to encourage teenagers and emerging young artists to continue with their creative lives. I've been a volunteer at the Redland Art Gallery now for 10 years, and I really love doing that. I attained my AFLQ coach's licence to coach girls AFL at Redland Bay State School, and I did that for 2 years. We actually made it to the Carol Berry Cup for one of those years and played it together. It was very exciting. I didn't win, but we almost got there. I've been a committee member of the AFLQ committee bringing in new safety regulations for young players. I'm currently, and I have been for 5 years, a contributing art member of the old Schoolhouse Gallery down at Cleveland, and I'm very proud of that achievement because again you have to work with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, and I've been there 5 years. I'm one of the longest serving members. I'm also proud of the fact that as an art group we managed to put pressure approximately 4 years ago on the council to try and save the railway station Masters College. The Cleveland RSL Club wanted to give it to the council for nothing, and the council back then, I'm sorry Peter, but they did not want it. So we spent the next 3 years trying to embarrass them enough to take it on. Finally they did. It only took 4 years. It's now in situation now and we love it. We should all be proud of it. It's a fantastic heritage area down there on the way to Cleveland Point, and it's great that it was saved in the long run. I've also been a manager for junior cricket and AFL teams at the Victoria Point Sporting Clubs, and for the last 7 years I've personally sponsored a cash prize and trophy for each art student in years 10 and 11 at Victoria Point High School for their annual art awards night. I'm most proud of the work that I did back in Sydney, and I've been doing volunteer work now for 25 years. It started back in Walkham Hills when we moved there. My son was 6 months old. He's now 25 and a half. So 25 years ago, we were going for a walk in our local park, which is called Balcombe Heights Estate in Walkham Hills. And I said to my husband then, we have really got to protect this area because we knew what was coming in the way of development between Walkham Hills and the lower Blue Mountains. If you go to Sydney now, you will not recognise that area. It is wall-to-wall, smaller housing development. There's not much in between. So the Balcombe Heights estate is used by 33 user groups. It includes a lot of old buildings that have been left into disrepair, a community hall that had been burnt down 10 years previously, which we ended up finding $1 million in the council's coffers that they hadn't bothered to tell us about, and we rebuilt it, but in a better way for the community. And that area is really well utilised by 33 community user groups. It's also home to local SES and St John's Ambulance, local radio, and like just a ton of different community user areas. We put beautiful white footpaths in so that families could take their children and dogs for walks through there and enjoy the park, new playground areas, new barbecue areas.
3 minutes.
We did a hell of a lot. So anyway, that's enough about me. I'm a community oriented person, and everybody's been totally polite to this point, but I'm not going to be polite anymore about what's been going on in the Redlands. We all know what's got to be fixed. We all know what's wrong. And we all know where it starts, and it starts at the top in the council building. And the only way things are going to change is if you vote in different people to get into those jobs and representing you properly with proper community consultation. We're talking real face-to-face, this sort of thing on a regular basis. Open door policy for you to actually ring up your councillor or email and say, I want to make an appointment to see you, and you say, yes, I have an open door policy. It's not open to some people and closed to others. It's open to everybody. Even if I can't do much to help you, I will still listen to you and try and help wherever possible. So that's another thing that I can bring to the table for you. I'm also, because I'm retired, I can work full-time for you. I don't have a massive big portfolio of private development interests other than than what I'm meant to be doing as a full-time job. So I want to work as a full-time councillor for you, not the part-time one that we've had for the last 8 years. It's basically invisible unless we see him coming up at election time. It's the only time we get to see him. Look, the Redlands Investment Corporation has basically got to go or be amended. Their powers have got to be lessened. They are an extra expense at council that we don't need. We've never needed them. We all know how they're making an absolute mess of Wyman Creek PDA. The plan there is absolutely atrocious. It doesn't suit the needs of not just the Simbi commuters who desperately need some sort of parking and help with free parking, which it looks like now they're going to get very little of. It's also affected all the residents who are around it at the coalface, basically, in Moores Road, Oscar Road and the Esplanade. It's not going to be great for those people when they've got a 500 space car park across the road. It hasn't been good in the last year and a half while that car park has been constructed. We've seen a beautiful quiet area absolutely destroyed by dust and noise and deep excavation drilling, and nobody's done anything to help us. Definitely not our local councillor. So we've got residents up the back here who used to have a lovely quiet street at the end of Oster Road. Now they're getting 500 or more car space behind them that could turn into a boat ramp at the front, and all this pedestrian stuff that's going on that's coming over to the southern side of Wine Creek should have always happened on the northern side. This is where it was always meant to go, on this side. So by the time we get, we could have anything up to 800 apartments coming on this side. We've already got nearly 100 on the southern side. The road congestion is going to get so much worse. And basically the problems for the Sydney commuters with their car parking is not going to be addressed properly, and Redlands ratepayers are paying for it in their rates. So it's time to change. It's really time to change.
Thank you, Junita.